All right, welcome to week 9 of our NFL Pick'em series. My name is Chris, and join with me is my friend Jason.
Hey, Gracie, good to be back. Fun week 8. Some really predictable results, a few surprises.
Yeah, definitely wasn't exciting as last week, but every week of football is always fun to watch. All right, let's get right back into last week, and we'll start with how we did last week. I went a 13-3 record.
Congrats.
And since we had so many picks of the same game, Jason
Uh-huh.
went 12-4 last week.
Yeah, pretty respectable.
And for the season, I am now 85-38, and Jason is 78-45,
Yeah, still got half
extending
the season to catch up.
extending Chrissy's lead to now 7 games. All right. With that grandstanding out of the way, let's get into the week 7 results.
Remind me how Garrett Wilson is doing.
Oh, he's still doing fine.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's number. Well, this hasn't been updated for this week's results, but I imagine he's still 5 or 6 because he still got like 15 points or something.
At some point, I'm going to get that burger from you. Let's talk about Minnesota Rams.
All right, yeah. Really wanted to watch this game, but I had like the worst fucking migraine Thursday. So what I did was on my phone, I found this website that had like Minnesota Vikings radio station. So I actually listened to this game on my phone because my head hurt so much. I wanted to watch it because Cooper Cup and Puka Nuka both came back in this game, which no doubt leads
I
to
love the way you
this.
say his name.
Yeah, I mean, this was a huge upset, honestly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we both had the Vikings, and look, we only got a few games wrong this week. This was, I think we were saying, like, the Rams have a shot in this, but we both expect the Vikings to do it. And I knew that if I picked the Rams, I would cause them to just absolutely choke.
I know
So,
Sean McVay still
really
is
nice
trying
to see.
to prove his detractors wrong, I guess, right?
I guess so, although apparently the Vikings did have a chance to bring it back at the end of the game, if not for a missed call by the refs. Good for the Rams. Like, seems like they really delivered on all three sides of the ball.
Well, I mean, if they won by 2 possessions, there was definitely more at play than just one bad call.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. I think it was like they were one possession off at the time.
All right. Rams improved to 3-4, and suddenly
Yeah,
this season looks identical to their last 2 seasons where they got off to a slow start and then ended up making the playoffs.
yeah, you could absolutely see the way that these guys make the playoffs if if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, Kyron Williams, man, he is such a monster. And now that they have Puka and Cup back, should be pretty
Oh, you
cool.
really want to get me started on Sean McVay? Kieran Williams was there, and Sean McVay handed every single ball to David Akers instead.
I mean, Cam Akers?
Yes, David Akers. Okay, maybe 15 years ago on the Cam Akers.
He's still with the Rams?
Huh?
Well,
No, no, no. They finally got rid of him. I think the upper management forced him out.
I was about to
But
say
while he
because
was
yeah,
yeah, but while he was there, Sean McVay was handing every single ball to him, while Kieran Williams was getting like 3 touches a game.
that there is some truth to that, but Kyron Williams has also been hurt a bunch too. So I agree with you. My uncle has Kyron Williams,
Yeah,
man.
he's great.
He gets so many touches, it's crazy. All
And then we
right.
got Baltimore and Cleveland. Let's talk about this one.
Oh man, this is definitely the upset of the week for sure. Yeah, Jameis Winston, man, he just instantly rejuvenated this Browns offense minus
I
Amari Cooper,
disagree. I
which
think the
makes it
lack of
even more
Deshaun
impressive.
Watson instantly rejuvenated this Browns offense.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said I think it was the lack of Deshaun Watson that rejuvenated this Browns offense.
Well, I think both are true.
Yeah, yeah. Jameis is good. Yeah, I mean, Jameis has never been great. Jameis is a good quarterback. He's definitely like professional NFL, like first string level.
I mean, I think he's good. I mean, there was a reason he was the
Yeah.
starter in Tampa for like 4 years before he like washed out. So
Yeah.
he's definitely way better than Deshaun, and he's
hmm
still young. So
What a delight to see him just like pull this off with a team that was so down.
I know, and we were just saying a week or two ago, Deshaun Watson never had a 200-yard game. Jameis Winston
Yep.
comes up and 300 yards.
Immediate 200-yard game. Oh, he had 300?
Yeah,
Okay, nice,
that
nice.
makes it even more embarrassing. And this is without Amari Cooper. It's almost insult to injury.
Yeah. Also interesting at the end of this game was Baltimore trying to pull out the drive at the end. Like they essentially Jameis could have, or they could have sat on the ball. This is not Jameis's fault per se. They dialed up a long throw and it worked. But they could have sat on the ball and just attempted maybe like a 45 to 50-yard field goal to end the game. Instead, they threw a touchdown pass and gave the Ravens almost a minute to drive down the field with two timeouts. And it was great that Cleveland was able to stop them because Baltimore, as sloppy as they play, is a really, really good team.
Yeah, it was a much needed win for the Browns. Although
Yeah,
their
and
division is so
shocker for the Ravens who need to clean it up.
yeah, unfortunately the Browns division is so fierce. Our season's probably already over.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're not making the playoffs.
All right, next up, we've got a pretty predictable win by the Lions, who, now that the Ravens have lost a step with that game, I personally think the Lions are the hottest team in the league right now. I mean, they're just blowing out teams. They look so good on offense. Their defense is much better than the Ravens.
Yeah, this was against Tennessee, but they have put up like I think 35, 40 or more points in like 3 weeks straight now. The Lions look great.
Well, should we count the Cowboy game? Is that fair?
It's up to you. We can count the Cowboy game if you want.
I'm just joking because the Cowboys' defense is so bad. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
obviously, the Titans are poverty right now.
Yeah.
I would definitely say the Lions are hottest team at the moment. And I know that Chiefs are undefeated.
Titans are GameStop stock.
Say
They
that
keep
again?
thinking they're going to go up and they just crash.
All right, next up, we got a divisional game between the Texans.
Hang on, I got a cool stat for you. Do you know how many passing yards Detroit threw that game?
This week?
Or at least that Goff threw? Yeah.
I have no idea. I know Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery were really good in the game, so.
Yeah, they were. Jahmyr actually had more yards than Goff did. Goff had 85 passing yards in this 52-point win.
Wow. Must be nice. That's a good problem to have, all right.
Yeah. As much as it looked like it was just an offensive blowout, like the defense really did a lot in this game. I don't think they had a touchdown per se, but they gave the Lions a short field after an interception or a fumble twice. And Goff did enough to, on the 85 yards, he had 3 touchdowns. Like, he did enough. There was a punt return touchdown. They were just, every single dimension looks so good for the Lions right now.
Yeah, they are fearsome.
Yeah, just wanted to get that in. And then Indianapolis and Houston, to nobody's surprise.
I mean, it was a close game, but I think we were expecting the Texans to win.
Yeah, I think we were expecting them to win in a close one, and they won in a close one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stephon Diggs got hurt in this game. A bit upset. So now
awful.
Nico Collins and Diggs are out now.
Yeah, any word on how long Diggs is out for?
They haven't done the MRI yet, but it was like a knee injury, so... And they have a short week. They play Thursday, so he's almost certainly going to miss at least one game.
Yeah, those are usually at least a few games, but not season-ending.
No, I'm sure he'll come back. It wasn't that grievous. Or we would already know by now.
Wasn't that grievous a wound?
No, I mean, I didn't see it, but you would know by now if it was bad.
Reduces fantasy points by 40%.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, next up, we've got the Packers just beating the straight-up poverty Jaguars over here. This was a shockingly close game for how much better the Packers are on paper.
Yeah, it's cool of them to see. Well, I mean, look, they didn't have Love, so that's part of it.
No, I think he was in the game for a while.
Oh, was he?
He went out with like a groin injury like later in the game. But
okay, so they didn't have Love for part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, like the Jaguars, just a team I think playing below their talent right now. And I think just are better than their record, and I think most fans think they are.
All right, let's try to move
But their
this.
record's pretty bad. Yeah.
Let's move this along. Next up, we've got Tua's return game, but unfortunately, in a ultra close game, he couldn't seal the deal. There's a reason we both picked the Cardinals. They
Well, the
win
reason
by
we both
one
picked the
point.
Cardinals was we didn't think Tua was going to play.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's but if I mean I know it's hindsight, but if we both knew he was going to play, I think we
I
both
would
would
have
have.
picked the Dolphins. You
I
wouldn't
would.
have?
No, I would have picked the Dolphins too.
Okay, yeah. So we got lucky with this one.
I know.
Um,
I played against David this week, man. He was as soon as Tua came back in the game, he went snake nasty. So that's
yeah,
a
like
good sign
no,
going forward.
Devon. So for everybody else besides us, you're talking about Devon Chen,
Yes.
HN. But
He sunk my fantasy game this week.
but yeah, both teams looked good in parts in this. Miami got off to a 10-0 lead, and I think just on the first drive, Tyreek Hill had more yards than like Tyreek and Waddle had combined last week. Uh, that they really just are such a new look team with Tua in versus with him not playing. And it's so funny. It's like you would think there would be a lot of quarterbacks that can like put the ball in Tyreek's hands. HN, runs for like twice as much on every single rush as he did when Tua wasn't there. It's like the power of friendship, man. The hero comes back, and just
Mm.
all of a sudden, everybody becomes superhuman. I thought that was going to be the story in the first half, but Arizona did make a nice comeback. As much as Kyler misses a lot of throws after he extends plays with his legs, like he beat the Dolphins just enough times to get it done.
So here's the
And
question: At
yeah,
2-5, can the Dolphins get that wild card slot still? I mean, the
I don't
Bills are
think
too far
so.
ahead. It's hard to
I
imagine the
mean,
Bills dropping enough games.
the good news for the Dolphins is they get to play the Patriots and the Jets again. Um, But no, I mean, we have a little bit of a harder schedule near the end of the season. I don't think the Dolphins are going to make it.
Mm.
They've got to basically run the table to at least 9-8, probably 10-7 to get there with the way the AFC is playing. I mean, we're probably going to have like 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. I don't think
Yeah,
there's one more wild card spot.
yeah, that's a good point. The AFC is so much better than the NFC right now.
Then again, the Bengals are probably going to miss too, so maybe we'll only have 2 really good AFC North teams in the playoffs.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals managed to get one of the wild cards.
They could. Yeah, I don't think their season's finished, but it's a big ask. And on the other hand, like Kyler Murray, if he could just like get a little bit more accurate with the touch passes, this guy's gonna be damn good. But it's been
Yeah,
years, and so far he hasn't gotten there.
there's people I've warmed up to, but he's not one of them. So I'm gonna keep giving him a hard time until I see some more consistency.
All right, New York Jets, New England. We
All
both had
right.
the Jets in this one in kind of a toilet bowl type of game, and surprise, Patriots won this.
Yeah, I know you're secretly like jumping up and down inside that.
Oh, there was no secret about it. I was obnoxious in my group chat after the result of that game.
I know you're like I can't wait to do the next video with Chris. It's gonna feel so good. The Schadenfreude is palpable, you know.
Oh, I just love how bad Aaron Rodgers is.
And you
I,
know
I
what?
it is so funny that like Vegas had this team winning 10 games this season.
Still could.
Yeah, they could. Okay.
It's not
They're
mathematically impossible yet.
they're what? 2-6 now?
Yeah,
Yeah, you could already just mark off the loss to the Bills.
they played them close the first game.
Yeah, well, they won't even play them close the second time, but so I have an interesting stat in this one. Um, in NFL history, teams that score 20 or more points, don't turn the ball over, and allow fewer than 250 yards. Thank you, Dan Orlovsky. Are 750 wins and 1 loss, including the playoffs, when generating that box score. That 1 loss is the Jets.
Mm. Well, someone definitely must have told you that.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
Well, that's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just a team that really cannot get it done when it counts, and to lose to the Patriots, man, like I've been saying for a while the Patriots are better than everybody thinks, but this is still a new low for the Jets, and it feels so good.
yeah, I mean, I have to be realistic.
Hmm.
With this loss, I feel like it's officially the panic button. And I know you're saying that they were fucked from the beginning and all that, but no, right?
Yeah, but nobody
But
was panicking, right? It was
yeah,
like that the entire sports world was like the dog sitting at the table with the entire apartment on fire, being like, "This is fine."
well, here's the thing: the 3 games they've played since they fired their head coach, their offense has been better, a lot better. They just haven't been able to still produce enough to over. And the sad thing is, all these losses have been like games they probably should have won, you know. And Devonte Adams
Like
hasn't
on
done
paper,
much.
probably should have won. Yeah, except Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's better than them.
I feel like at that point in time, that was almost a toss up.
Wasn't that like last week?
Uh, Last week, a week
Yeah, that
before.
was week 7.
All right, let's not
Yeah.
dwell.
All right. Yeah, we can speed run most of the rest of this. I just wanted to twist the knife in the Jets.
Next up, the rematch. The Falcons come out again on top of the Bucks. Not as dominating as their first game of the season that they played, but still a very commanding performance from my boy Kirk after a very disappointing loss to the Seahawks last week.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't get to see any of this game, but the Falcons are a very good team right now.
Yeah, and I did the stupidest thing. As soon as Evans and Godwin went out, I immediately jacked. I picked up Cade Otton, and he went absolutely crazy this game. He got like 29
Nice.
points, except I didn't start him because I'm a dumbass. If I started him, I would have won.
Yeah, that's the problem with the waiver wire, right? You can get like a brilliant pick off of there, but if you still have, in theory, better players on your roster, it's so hard to actually play them.
I know. I only lost this week by freaking 2 points. So I was so upset, and I
If
left like
only you were in a best ball league.
I left. I lost this week with 33 points on my bench potentially. So annoying.
With 33 points that you would have had more than your lineup.
If I started the optimal choices, I left
Yeah.
33 points on my bench.
Best ball, Chrissy. Best ball.
Because Kirk made 10 more points than Josh Allen did this week.
All right. Nobody cares about your fantasy.
You're right. Okay, next up.
I care about your fantasy a little.
What we thought would be a pretty close game is actually a dominating game from the Eagles. And this one I
Uh-huh.
did get to watch, even though I was sleep deprived. It started out really close, and then the Eagles just started running away with it. And obviously, we both knew something because we both did pick the Eagles with that shit Bengals defense, presumably.
Yeah. Pretty much the Bengals defense was what made this pick easy. The Bengals offense did not look real good in this game either.
Yep. Very disappointing. Bengals had won 3-0 or 3 in a row before that or something. All right, next up, the Saints increased their losing streak from 5 to 6. Now this team is just like otherworldly imploding. It's a little crazy. And of course, we both picked the Chargers.
Aside from like a little bit of the rushing game, like the Saints just can't do anything right now. Defense looks bad. Passing attack looks bad.
Yep,
I think Olave is still there and doing pretty good, right? But I think he got injured a week or two ago, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
but Rashid
that's
Shaheed
definitely a
also is out for
detriment to their
this.
offense.
Their number one receiver also went out for the season.
Wasn't that Olave?
No, it's Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, okay.
All right, next up, we got an absolutely dominating game from the Bills. They will not be upset like the Falcons did by these dirty birds.
Yeah.
I got to watch this one too, so that was cool.
The Bills are very good everywhere. I really don't think they have much of a weakness. Occasionally, they don't play up to their standard, but you could say that about almost any good team, like the Ravens, for instance, who lost. Um, and Seattle, we keep thinking like maybe they can bring it, and yeah, they just came out flat.
Yep. Next up, Chicago just barely losing to the Redskins. Of course, this is that famous game where Jaden Daniels threw a Hail Mary, the last
Oh,
play
I
of the game.
saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, otherwise, the Bears kind of dominated this the whole game
I
with their.
only got to see this game in bonus coverage, but I did get to see that Hail Mary.
Yeah, the
And
Bears
oh,
defense,
that
like
was crazy.
the Bears defense was so good this game.
It did seem like Jaden Daniels was playing a little bit under his own standard. Yeah, Bears defense was good. Washington is really interesting. They had that win in week 2, where they had like 7 field goals against the Giants and no touchdowns. And aside from that Hail Mary at the end, I don't think there was another touchdown, or sorry, there was no other touchdown for the Commanders in this game. So it's like you have some weeks where it's like they're moving the ball down and then they're scoring 5 or 6 touchdowns. You have others where they're moving the ball down and just can't get the ball into the end zone and have to settle for a bunch of field goals. Um, it that's something they really need to correct. I mean, good for them that they won this, and what a crazy, exciting finish.
Yep. At the end of the day, they are 6-2 atop the NFC East, and with their like insane, what do you call it, emergence this season, it basically just zoned the Cowboys out of the division, basically.
Be honest, you didn't think there was a chance that the Commanders would be one of the top 2 teams in this division, did you?
Well, I'm so used to the Giants being bad and the Redskins being the worst, so
Mm-hmm.
no.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yeah.
I mean, that's how it's been. That's the way of things for like the past 15 years, you know.
This is so cool to see. I hope this becomes like a. Honestly, I hope this becomes a dynasty. Washington D.C. needs it.
Next up, we got the Panthers losing another game to the Broncos, and Broncos are really picking up some steam the last month after starting off 0-3.
Yeah, are the Panthers the single worst team in recent football memory?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I looked at their defense the other day. Everyone has scored like 30 to 40 points against them. You know, they have the worst defense right now. They got nothing going on offense. Their young quarterback's a pile of dog shit. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they have like. Can you think of a fantasy player worth a shit on their offense?
No, I can't. Thielen will make it onto rosters, but that's it.
Yeah, but he got hurt, so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
All right, Chiefs and Raiders.
Yeah, this was a shockingly close game, but it is in the division. And you know, I'm always rooting against the Chiefs. I'm sure I picked them this week, of course. And yeah, this was probably the first good game Mahomes has actually had this season. He actually put up some respectable stats in this one.
We're gonna argue about this every week, aren't we? Stats or not, I think most of Mahomes' games have been very good this season. This also wasn't as close as the scoreboard looks. The Raiders scored their final touchdown with I think a minute or 2 to go. Kansas City was up 27-13 for most of the second half.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, this was my survivor pick this week, and I felt pretty comfortable with it. Early on, I was sweating a bit.
as you should.
Yeah.
All right. And then Sunday Night Football, the Cowboys game against the 49ers. You know, they didn't lose it the way I thought they would lose it, but they definitely lost. So you were the optimistic one. You actually were delusional enough, and this is our only contested game this week. You were
Yeah, this is
delusional enough to think the Cowboys could actually beat a game that's 100,000% depleted with all their skill position players wounded. You actually thought the Cowboys could take advantage of that?
yeah, I was the Delulu King. Or the Dalulu King in this case. Yeah, neither team played well in this game. Neither team played well, really, in any side of the ball, and either team could have given it away.
I mean, the only reason this is remotely close is because for some reason the last like 2 minutes of the game in garbage time, the 49ers gave up 2 touchdowns, of course, while they're doing like the prevent nothing defense.
Gotta love prevent nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice on paper that they only lost by 6 points, but they basically lost by like 20 points. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Oh well, let's not dwell on that. And then, lastly, we have the Steelers in a insanely close game against the Giants. I did watch this on Monday night, and this was absurdly close for how much better the Steelers are than the Giants. But basically,
Yeah, this was a weird game.
the longer the game went on, just the worse the Giants started to play, and the Steelers just, I wouldn't say ran away with it, but it was very clear where the momentum was after halftime.
Yeah. I think that's a really good take on it. It wasn't quite a runaway, but they had it comfortably in hand for most of the second half. It was 9-9 at halftime, and yeah, they had some stats during the game that were showing that Russell Wilson has just been much better in the second half this season.
Of his whole 2 starts.
Yeah, in all 2 starts. But like much, but it's night and day. Yeah. So good on the Steelers. 6-2, could be 7-1 if not for a really bad call by the refs. A really pleasant surprise.
Yeah, they're peaking, I guess, right around the right
Yeah.
time, and the infusion of Russ has really helped the passing game, of course.
Yeah, not that Fields was bad.
All right, that does it for Week 8. Now let's get on to our picks.
All right, quickly,
Things,
the props last week. You had 10 sacks for Denver. They had 2 sacks.
yeah,
I had Aaron Rodgers ending his career in an injury in a win. He survived the week in a loss.
yeah.
No good there.
First things first, the Steelers and the 49ers are on bye this week. And let's get right into our picks. First up on Thursday night, we have the Texans traveling to see the Jets. And yeah, I know. It's a short week for the Texans, and yeah, this is going to be quite a mountain for the Jets to climb. But on the positive note, they probably won't have Diggs and they won't have Nico Collins, so that's something. And the Jets still have a decent defense, you know.
All right, let me just take a sip of my expensive wine while you take the Texans.
Well, what do you think?
I'm taking the Texans.
Okay, yeah, I'm forced to take the Texans too.
I'm gonna take like the Cersei Lannister, like just watch the New York Jets organization just completely like blow up from the inside, and I just take my sip of wine.
Yeah, I don't really think C.J. Stroud has actually been playing super well, but since like Joe Mixon's
Last couple
gotten
games, he hasn't been as great.
yeah, since Joe Mixon came back from injury, he's just been tearing it up, which has really been
Yeah, I
carrying
do
it.
think there's a possibility this game will be close, and a possibility it won't be, but I think it's an easy win for the Texans.
Yeah. All right. Cowboys have the morning game, and they're traveling to see my boy Kirk in Atlanta. And yeah, I think this is going to be probably another slaughter. The Falcons' run game isn't really that great, so even if the Cowboys part the Red Sea for all the running backs like they usually do, I think Kirk is just going to pick apart their like secondary, man. So,
Yeah, Dallas defense is only good against bad teams recently, and I don't even just mean this year. Last year it was the same thing. This is your favorite team against seemingly your favorite quarterback, but I'm definitely taking Kirk and the Falcons.
yes, Kirk is my favorite quarterback. Yeah. I mean, how could you not? The Cowboys are in an absolute meltdown mode. They're lucky they're not like 1-6 right now, to be fair.
Yeah.
The only game that they've looked dominant in was against Deshaun Watson, so let that sink in.
Yeah, bad offenses. I do think Dallas can beat bad teams. Just Atlanta is not a bad team.
Yep. All right, next up, we've got the Broncos going to Baltimore, and this will definitely be probably a pretty good game. Honestly,
This might
the
be game of the week material, right? Like we've got Bo Nix and like the surprisingly potent Broncos offense, and obviously their defense is very good. Against what a lot of people were thinking was the best team in the AFC.
yep, uh, Broncos are very hot right now. Ravens just lost a step, but make no mistake, they're obviously stupid good. The Broncos definitely have right now they're the best defense in fantasy for whatever that's worth. So yeah, it's tough. Do you think the Broncos can get the upset?
I'm looking now, like who have the Broncos beaten this season? They beat Tampa Bay, they beat the Jets, um, they beat, and we both picked against them in both of those games. And I think week 5 they had a bye. They beat the Chargers, right?
Yeah, you picked against them that week, I
They
think.
beat the Saints. I mean, it seems like they're kind of beating bad teams as good as they look in doing that. Carolina last week. Um, just based off of that, and based off of how good Lamar Jackson has looked at times in the last few weeks, I would have a hard time picking against the Ravens. I'm going for Baltimore here.
Yep, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I just think the Ravens' offense is just too hard to stop, even if their defense is not the greatest. All right,
Yeah,
next up.
I'm looking forward to that game though. I hope I get to see that.
I won't because it's the same time slot as the Cowboys.
Hmm.
Next up, we've got the Dolphins heading to the slaughterhouse in Buffalo. How do you think this one's going to shape up? I mean, it
I
could
mean,
actually
look,
be pretty close. I mean, if with all the weapons and Tua back, could be very
this
close.
won't. This will not be close. Buffalo is our kryptonite, and they're especially wood chippers when we play in Buffalo. I think in the last 10 years or something, we've beaten them in Buffalo maybe once. Um, for me, this is an easy Buffalo pick, and I don't think we're going to come within 25 points of them.
Damn, that's pretty harsh. 25 points. I think the Cowboys are going to be within
I think
25 of the Falcons.
Buffalo is uniquely suited to dominate the Dolphins. I'm not saying the Dolphins are a bad team right now. Buffalo will blow them out.
All right.
Want to pick against me?
No, I mean I think the Bills are better, so I
Yeah.
can't pick the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins with Tua back would beat a lot of teams, but I don't think the Bills are one of them.
Oh, I can't wait for what's coming next.
Yeah, obviously
Oh
this
man, this
it's
is
in
not just the Toilet Bowl Week 9. This is the Toilet Super Bowl.
yeah, this is obviously shit bowl 9. I mean, there's no
Hey,
disputing it. There's
against the Panthers.
3 wins between two teams here. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
They're combined 3
Well,
and
they're about to get a
13.
fourth.
What?
They're about to get a fourth.
Oh yeah, one of
They're
them.
about to get minded for a fourth win.
Exactly. These teams are both in the same division, obviously, which like for whatever that's worth. But yeah, this
I
is
had this annotated as NOCAR, and just like no car, they can't go anywhere.
well, in a carless game, who do you think's going to have the steering wheel?
I want to say Carolina so badly. It's like my gut is telling me Carolina, but my head is telling me that's absolutely ridiculous. We just declared them the worst team in recent memory. I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, I think I'm going to
I'm
go with.
thinking my gut says like the Panthers are like, this is our Super Bowl. We're gonna give everything we've got.
No, I think the Panthers are in full like draft stock mode right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go with the Saints too.
Ah, it went no.
All right, next up, we've got the Raiders going to Cincinnati. And definitely not as lopsided as some of the other games, but They played it pretty close against the Chiefs, I suppose, and the Bengals defense is wretched. But I don't really think that highly of the Raiders offense, to be honest.
I'm just sorry. I was just looking to see if I could get the odds on the New Orleans Carolina game. I was morbidly interested in it.
Um,
Um,
they both suck, so it's probably just Carolina favored, right?
wow, no, the Saints are actually a 7-point favorite.
Damn, well, that seems
That's shocking.
unwarranted. Huh.
Yeah, I might take the Panthers in that. Anyway, yeah. So the Raiders really have looked pretty bad. And all sides of the ball, they're playing sloppy. I think they've had a lot of penalties. The Bengals just playing way below where they should be. At least their offenses look good at times. God, earlier in the season, I would have actually taken the Raiders here. I'm taking Cincinnati. You are too?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about the Raiders that jumps out at me as like competent. So
Okay, this will be an interesting one. We've got the Chargers at the newly
newly,
Watsonless Cleveland
yeah,
Browns.
the newly christened Browns of Cleveland. Yeah,
The new dawn of Cleveland. They're
yeah.
just waking up and they're looking around. They're like, wait a minute, where did my $280 million go? But it's a nice day out.
Thing is, the Chargers defense has been like sneaky good this season.
Mm-hmm.
But the Browns also have a pretty good defense too,
Yeah.
and I have a pretty low opinion of the Chargers, honestly. Uh, I don't know. It's so goofy. It's like, of course you pick against the Browns. It doesn't matter if Jameis Winston, right? It's still the Browns, right? But at the same time, it's like, well, the energy, man, the energy.
Yeah, I mean they have a good defense. They have a competent quarterback finally. The Chargers are an okay team who've put up some wins, but recently I think the only team they beat was the Saints. Who you got?
Uh, oh man. I mean, the safe money's with the Chargers, I guess. It's just
Are you a safe guy?
I mean, I'm gonna have to see Jameis Winston put together like a second good game before I start picking the Browns. You know?
You've got the lighty bulbs.
Yeah.
All right. I play risky. I'm going with Cleveland here. I think that what I saw from them against the Ravens, and just how competently their defense has played all season, despite the fact that they could have just basically folded and given up on themselves, knowing that if they held the other team to 9 points, it still wouldn't be good enough with Deshaun. I like the Browns here, and I am picking Cleveland.
All right. I mean, I feel like it could be a toss-up. Honestly, it's just I'm gonna go with the hand that's.
I feel good about my pick. This isn't just for spice.
I hear you. That's the same thing I thought when the Patriots were playing the Panthers, but I was wrong. I'm like, well, Drake May looked good in the last game. Well, he didn't look good in the next game, did he? No.
Man, he's like the old Windrake. Back when it gave you like 4% out of combat movement speed.
All right. I'm sure a lot of people understand that reference.
That's for all the crossover on the KC view.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Redskins going to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And the Giants actually have a top 10 defense, but boy, does that offense blow. And you have to think that Jaden Daniels is going to play much better in this game than he did in the last game.
Yeah, I mean,
Chicago has
continue to get better.
I don't think Giants defense is nearly as good as Chicago's.
Yeah,
so
you can tell he was hampered a little bit by the ribs, but man, the fact that he was able to put that 55-yard Hail Mary with the way that he was hurting was cool. I also think the Giants defense is probably statistically better than they really are because the other team, is happy to just kind of run the ball a lot against such a bad offense.
Yep, definitely going with the Redskins.
Yeah, sometimes you get some weird results when two NFC East teams play each other. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I've got the Commanders.
All right, next up we got Shit Bowl 9.5 over here
Mhm.
between the Patriots going to Tennessee. This one is actually very difficult to pick, I got to be honest. I mean, the
Yeah.
Titans are probably the best of all the terrible teams, maybe. Maybe it's the Giants, I don't know. They do have one
You
win.
like you like Nick Westbrooky kind?
I mean, I've heard that name, but was that's a
Yeah.
receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well,
I
I'm
don't know. Can you name a bunch of fantasy players on the Titans?
I mean, like Paul, Tony Pollard's their running back
Yeah.
because he was a Cowboy last season. So, all right, I got to go with the Patriots. I feel like for the same reason I thought they'd beat the Panthers. I'm saying the Drake May energy is enough to get them over the hump. Whereas I think that the Titans are almost in Panther like tank mode.
I am slightly impressed with what they did in week 8. I still kind of feel like they're going to get a little bit ahead of themselves after that win. It's very close. I'm going to take the home team in the Titans
They're
here.
like, oh wait up, guys, we could put two in a row together.
A
Wait, well, hold up,
little bit of a long streak for the Patriots,
two
or
in a
the Jets,
row.
for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to go with the home team here, but I absolutely see why you take the Patriots.
Yep. All right, next up we got the Bears going to Arizona against the Cardinals. This should be another close game, but yeah, there's no way I'm going to pick against the Bears defense when it's a close game like this. When it's someone like at their power level, which the Cardinals are probably just under, I kind of think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Caleb is just solid enough. And the Bears defense is just so good. Their special team is next level. And yeah, I don't think Kyler's going to have enough finesse to navigate that Bears defense. I'm definitely picking the Bears for this.
Okay, I see this a different way. I think Kyler was going to be able to kind of run around, and I think the Bears' defense is smart, but I think sometimes things break down. Even if you have a very good defense, when you have like a really good running quarterback, that can kind of like improvise plays that you wouldn't expect. Essentially, kind of like flip the script when you're about to tackle him. Oops, he's somewhere else, and now somebody's free. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pick the Bears with an insane amount of confidence. That's why I said they're at similar power level, so that makes sense
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, I think this is gonna probably be a very good game.
Okay, next up, Jacksonville heading to Philly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never really lost faith in the Eagles. They're another team I like. I like kind of like 5 or 6 teams in the NFL, and the Eagles are one of my favorite teams. So I just think that now that AJ Green, Devontae Smith are both back and playing again, that between them two and Saquon Barkley, they are too good on offense, even if their defense is like kind of lackluster. And I know you think they're really sloppy and all that. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
when their offense is on, they can put up as many points as anyone in the league, man. So
Yeah, at home against a mediocre team, I don't think their sloppiness is going to show as much. I agree with you. As much as I do like Jacksonville better than most people do, this seems like an easy win for Philly.
are you sure? I feel like you've picked Jacksonville like almost every week.
I regret my choices.
All right. Next up, we've got what should be a super good game over here. Assuming Jordan Love is. I haven't gotten the word how bad his groin is feeling. We got the Lions going to Green Bay, 6-1, 6-2. Yeah.
Two really good teams here.
Yeah, and they both don't have a great defense, but a good defense. They're both much better on
Yeah.
offensive side of the ball. I just I would pick the Lions against any team in the league right now.
Wow.
And yeah,
Even Kansas City?
especially Kansas City.
I know.
Yeah, I think even if Jordan Love does play,
Yeah.
I favor the Lions.
Yeah, I favor the Lions in this one as well. You have two very good teams who have no problem putting up whatever points they need to in the clutch to actually pull out a win. This is likely to come down to, who has the ball in an advantageous position at the end of the game, last, essentially. And yeah, I mean, they just put up 52 points last week, including 0 points in the fourth quarter because they didn't need to. You have to take Detroit in this one, but Green Bay fans are probably booing our video right now. And hey, we understand, right? You guys are great. It's just I don't know that I would go so far as you as to take the Lions against any team in the league. I think there's at least 2 teams that would take over them in any random matchup.
Nah,
But,
I'd favor them against the Chiefs, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
I would favor them against Baltimore out of the 3 that you just said.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance.
Yeah.
I think there's a decent chance this could just be a blowout for the Lions, honestly.
I don't think so. Like, as nicely as their defense is put up in the last few weeks, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Green Bay's passing or rushing attack every time. And that's what you would need to do to make it a blowout.
All right.
This might be a 45-30 game in the end, but I don't think that the 30 is going to come in garbage time.
So you got the Lions, right?
I got the Lions, yeah.
All right, next up, we've got the Rams heading to Seattle. Yeah. And this I actually do think will be a closer game, but I definitely, now that all the weapons are back, I have to give it to the Rams. The Seahawks are just like, it's not that I think they're wretched. It's just, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have faith.
It's especially nice when they have their 12th man playing for them at home.
I have more faith in all of the Rams' weapons.
Yeah, the Rams definitely have weapons on both offense and defense. I think the newly rejuvenated Rams, having more confidence, being off a couple of collapses at the beginning of the season, and now playing well in the last few games, there's no reason to say that they can't get this done in the division. I mean, they are the best team in the division right now. San Francisco might be that again if they can get healthy.
Yeah, what a crazy division. The 49ers are like at the bottom, and then like the Cardinals or Seahawks are at the top. It's crazy.
Yeah, this really is kind of a Jekyll and Hyde division.
Yeah, all right. Next up, we've got the Colts heading to Minnesota. And now that the Vikings have lost 2 in a row, we're going to have to really re-examine what we think about Sam Darnold and these boys. It is a home game. I'm saying, and you kept swearing up and down they won't lose their first game at home. They did lose their first game at home, and then they lost their second game at home.
Nobody remembers that. That was so weak.
Yeah, I'm saying that it won't happen to them if they won't drop a third game in a row. I'm saying that I'm calling this one for the Vikings. The Colts are honestly just like the Cardinals.
You've got the Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Vikings as well. I think the Colts are a mediocre team right now. I don't think that they're as Jekyll and Hyde as the Cardinals are, but probably of around the same quality. Minnesota's in a slump, and you can even remember, like in recent memory, right, where they started out I think 11-0, and then lost 4 of their last 5. Like they're definitely capable of long slumps. I just see them pulling out of it here. I don't think this is a team that's completely lost confidence in itself, so I'm taking the Vikings as well. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts actually pull it off.
This just feels like a tall order.
Yeah. And then for the lead pipe lock of the week, we got the Buccaneers at the Chiefs. Tell me why you think the Buccaneers are actually going to win this.
They will run. My disdain for Patrick Mahomes will will them to victory. And
that's the worst for the last 7 games.
Even though they lost Chris Godwin, the best receiver statistically in the league when he went down, and Chris Evans is still going to miss a few more games, they will find a way to top the Chiefs.
Are you gonna get on the field and like run the routes yourself so that you can take down the Chiefs?
I feel like I'd be more of a tight end player. I don't have the endurance as a running back, and I don't have the speed of a wide receiver. So
I'm
slot,
definitely a wideout.
yeah, put me in at tight end because I'm in good shape. I'm tall.
Uh-huh.
I'm like 6'4", but or something like that. But I think I could do
Or
tight
something
end.
like that. Yeah, I'm 6'8" or something like that.
No, I'm really 6'4".
Okay.
6'8". Anyway, bullshit aside,
Uh-huh.
Baker Mayfield has been playing out of his mind this season. He's really impressed me. He's probably impressed me more than any quarterback the last 2 seasons at least.
Even in their losses,
Yeah, I mean, I feel
he
like there
got a good one.
hasn't really been a very ugly loss for them. They've still put up a shitload of points in all of their losses, and
So can I sign you up for a Tampa Bay win here?
yes, I am definitely going with the Bucks.
Wow. Ooh.
Any,
Spice.
I'm
Love
going
it.
to I'm going to pick against the Chiefs if there's someone that's even in the realm of possibility to put up a shitload of points. I'm gonna pick against the Chiefs, man. So,
All right. I'm looking forward to you taking Arizona against the Chiefs whenever they play.
well, it's like I said, anyone
Yeah.
that has a chance, I'm gonna pick against the Chiefs, man.
I'm going to take the most obvious and easy pick of the week in the Chiefs. They are just the best team in the league right now. They look great on in all parts of the game, the offense, the defense, the special teams. People can shit on Patrick Mahomes all they want to. He looks way better than the stats are showing. And yeah, I think it's crazy to pick against them. Chiefs all the way, baby.
But you acknowledge the Bucks are like very fearsome, like offensively, man. Even if they weren't
The
playing the
Bucks,
Chiefs.
the Bucks are a good team at times. Let's see them do something against the Chiefs, and then we can talk about them being like real contenders.
I've had the pleasure of watching like a lot of the Bucks game this season, man,
I honestly haven't seen too many. When I have seen them, they've looked good, except for that one game where they couldn't do anything, where they put up a lot in the first quarter and then were just trash for the rest of the game.
Baker's just playing out of his mind. You know?
Yeah. Baker's good. Remember when the Panthers thought that they were too good for him?
And the Browns, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our prop bets. I never put much thought into these, and I always forget we're about to do them right when we come up with them. Let's see. Tell me yours first. I need some more time.
All right. I've got Mahomes putting up 450 yards on an 80% completion percentage or more.
Wow, that is, dude. He can barely get 200 this season. You're gonna have. That's so crazy.
Don't you dare compare him to Deshaun Watson.
No, obviously that's too disgraceful even for Patrick to suffer that indignity. But 450, that's just absurd.
He's gonna have his return to his shootout form against the Buccaneers. That's my prop bet, man.
All
And if
right.
you want, I can lower it to 475 if you think this was too crazy.
Lower it. You said 450.
Yeah, 450 and 80 is what I've got.
So I'm sorry. So Patrick Mahomes is going to get 450 passing yards or all-purpose yards.
80% completions.
Okay, it's literally not going to happen, man. Okay.
I'm definitely gonna get closer than Denver having 10 sacks.
Bro, they got 7 one of those games. I said 10.
We got 2 last time.
All right. Well, okay. Since you're so hot on Patrick Mahomes' ass,
yeah.
Buccaneers, Cade Otton is going to get 3 passing touchdowns.
Okay. I'll give that to you as a prop bet. 3 receiving touchdowns?
Yeah, there's no way he'd get it out of the backfield. So
that would be quite a prop bet.
So yeah. Cade Otton, win or lose, 3 receiving touchdowns.
What a fun game it'll be if both of those things happen.
Oh yeah, that's true. They both could happen. Except yours, it won't happen.
Possible shootout.
If Mahomes is even doing remotely that well, their running game is probably just going to be too good for Mahomes to make good on those yards.
I do think the running backs might end up actually getting, doing the final 3 yards into the end zone, which is why I didn't. Which is why I went with 80% completion percentage instead of like 4 touchdowns from Mahomes. But yeah, I think he's going to have a return to a shootout form because in most of the games he's played, he's done what he's needed to do. This game, he might need to actually extend the ball a little more. And he is perfectly capable of it, and don't you dare tell me otherwise.
Uh, I think the Mahomes of like 18, 19, 20 was perfectly capable of it. He's regressed statistically every season he's been in the league, and that's a fact.
Sounds kind of like Aaron Rodgers in the last 6 years.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not saying he's as good as,
But Mahomes isn't 42 years old.
oh, Aaron's not that old.
I think
But
he's 41, isn't he?
I think he's just 40. The
Okay.
Bucks have been in a lot of shootouts, so
Mhm.
I think there's definitely room for Mahomes to have maybe his best statistical season of the season or statistical game of the season. But you're like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees esque bet there is just absurd. He'll never get that. So.
We shall see, my friend. We shall see on Monday.
All right, that does it for our Week 8 pick'em shit here, and we'll see you guys next week.
This has been fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.